everybody, this is Gayle. Welcome to my channel. Tonight we're going to be talking about van life because I've gotten a ton of questions in since I posted the last video. So go ahead and subscribe if you're new to the channel and you haven't already. Yay. Now most of the time hubby won't be on here with me, but since some of your questions can be answered by him, leave your drink please. Okay. I'm going to let him be in on this video. What do y'all think? And hey, we have already got Women's Station channel in. So, hello. Hi, Women's Station channel. How are you? Thomas, the post-war train guy, is in.
Yay,
hey,
train guy.
Yeah.
Yay, train.
Thank you, and welcome tonight. Okay, so here's the thing. I have been really surprised and pretty blown away by the amount of interest that this last video has generated. I just uploaded it Thursday, and I've got a bunch of questions about van life. Why did I choose the Chevy Express, which he can answer? How did I decide on the layout of the van? Things like that. So I've written them all down, and there's some questions about Pipsy, my service dog, riding in the van and stuff like that. So, and we also have Big Tom's van. Hey, been a while. It's good to see you. And we have Busy Lady 39 in. So welcome, y'all. And if you should have any questions, don't hesitate to put those over in the comments so I can see them, because we'll do our best to answer. And I do have two screens rocking tonight. So if you see me look over here, that's because I'm checking out the other screen for your comments and questions and so forth. So, are we ready? Are you ready?
No, but we can go anyway.
And since it's a fun topic, I just thought I'd wrap my bow around my hat, because when you're doing van life, it's all about, having fun. It's about being on the journey. It's not always about the destination, but it is about relaxing, getting away, and experiencing life a little differently. So thank you. Big Tom's fan likes my hat.
Yeah. He doesn't see the purple cloud of fluff floating around in here.
All right. So, okay, there we go. So first off, the big question that I get asked a lot, whether it's on my last video or not, is why did you get a van? And I can't tell you how many times I've been asked this, like even stopped on the side of the road, even stopped on the side of a rest area, restaurants, businesses. I actually spent one night in a hotel because the weather was horrific, and I got stopped by a couple of people there. And come to find out, their grandson was interested in van life, and they thought it was just, well, I won't tell you what they said that they thought it was, but anyway, not as complimentary as one would hope. But, we got the white 2-pack in here too. So, hey, white 2-pack.
Hello.
Hey. So, all right. So, why did we get a van? Why? I don't know. I'll check that out in just a little bit, though. I don't know. Let me check. I noticed, too, that I lost my wrench on your channel, too. Thank you.
Oh, I had visions of dropping a wrench down in an engine bay or something. I was like, oh, that's bad.
Yes.
Ooh, okay.
Yes. But anyway, so why we got a van? There was actually several things that went into the decision about why to get a van. One is that because of driving to Alaska, which is a mission team thing. I mean, I get to drive, but, the primary is because of the mission team. We wanted something with space, because when I drive for the team, I am taking their stuff, so they don't have to put a suitcase on the airplane and save that baggage fee. And I'm taking supplies for the team, and I'm taking tools that the team needs. And so the whole idea that we could transport it plus have a place to sleep really is what drew us to van life. Originally, I had a couple of contacts with people who had done this crazy trip to Alaska. So that was cool. But really, the big thing is, because of the mission trips, we wanted to be able to put storage stuff in there, but also have a place to sleep. The other thing is, it was a lot cheaper to, as far as like sleeping accommodations and stuff. You can just pull over and sleep and then travel on, which made it a lot more.
Yeah.
There are some times, though, when it's difficult to be in the van. If your weather is tornadic or extremely hot, that nature, yeah, it is difficult, but it's totally worth it. Totally worth it. So let's see. Big Tom's Van has a question.
That's a good question.
That has actually been asked. Whoops. Wait a while. Okay, here's the next question. Why did we choose a Chevy Express? You want to answer part of that?
Yeah. We chose, one of the reasons we chose it was that there are a million of them on the road, and we checked and found out that getting parts and service was actually fairly easy and less expensive than some of the more exotic vans. So that was one of the reasons we chose the Express. When we were looking at the van, looking for vans in general, from what I remember, and Gayle's our memory person for our duo here, but as far as vans to choose from, it was basically the Express or the Ford version, or whatever it's called, and the Sprinters were just coming out, and they were too expensive. So we were looking for something in our price point that was durable, that would last really well, and was easy to fix. And the Chevy, we found a Chevy that met all of those criteria.
And we wanted a monster engine.
Yeah.
That was super important. Do you want to talk about why we picked out that engine?
We wanted the engine because there are some pretty serious grades going over the Canadian Rockies, so we want to have a van with some grunt to it. And we also wanted to be able to tow things like our utility trailer that we take our mission team supplies in, and maybe even our camping trailer later on. So we wanted towing capacity and pulling power. The van did not come with a tow package, so we added that a little bit later on. That wasn't too awfully bad. But yeah, we wanted something that would pull.
Yeah. And with getting the trailer later on, it's critical. If you're going to pull a mountain, you want to have good pulling power. You don't want to be one of the vehicles that's off on the side of the road because their engine is overheated and what have you. So that was huge. And we saw on this last trip that I did to New Mexico in the van, I had several van problems. I had an issue with the air conditioner going out and needing a condenser. I had an issue with the pitman arm. I had bad tires that, even though I'd gotten them almost new, they were the pits. So being able to work on the van most places really came in handy.
Yeah.
There are times when you get an extended vehicle that if you're going to go get an alignment, you can't always get it because those bays have to be able to handle the length of your vehicle. So if you're looking at a Chevy Express or any other van that's extended, talk to your mechanics that usually work on it and find out, can your vehicle be accommodated there? So
we've had to go to a couple of commercial vehicle truck repair places for
special
tires and whatnot. But again, since there's so many Chevy Express delivery vans, the commercial vehicle garages are generally well equipped to handle it. But our local Firestone wasn't. So
yeah,
some of them are. When we tried, couldn't. So we had to keep looking.
And Sam's, usually if you're going to get tires, you can't always get truck tire or van tires at just anywhere either. But we've had good luck at Sam's. Yep. We've had good luck at Firestone. And I'm not going to say the other place that I got tires because they weren't very good. I got the lowest end and it was a disaster. But so all of that factored into the Chevy Express. Yeah, I've been really pleased with it.
Very pleased with it. Since it is a commercial delivery vehicle, it's been tough.
Yes.
We've got the heavier duty, high load rated tires. I kind of drove it into a ditch one day, and it did fine. No harm done.
Yeah, it was okay. That the van was better than the marriage was at that moment.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
but another thing too that we should mention is the space in it was a nice size space to work with, and it gave us the ability to put in this super large cabinet that we could throw team stuff in and secure. So there's a ton of reasons. Let's see, Big Tom's van. Ours is a 2500.
And the difference is simply in the load rating. The 3500 has a different suspension, but we still have, with our engine and brake package, we've got a towing capacity of right at 8,000 pounds. So it's more than adequate for whatever we're currently doing.
But had we been able to find a 3500 in our price range, we would have considered it. We pretty much, I'd done a bunch of looking, and I kind of had this price point in mind, and I didn't want to go over that price point. So we looked for this van for a solid year before one finally popped up at a dealership, and we were able to get it. So, yeah. So don't rush into getting the first van that you find if you're looking at it. Take your time. Figure out what you want in a van, what's important to you, and then go from those. Go with those specs and parameters. Big Tom's van. I know that you're already in a van, so yeah. But not everybody's going to be that hears this, so yeah. The next one. Does Pipsy like van life?
Spoiler alert! Yes.
My stars. He does.
He really does.
He just absolutely just dives right in, and he took to it to a duck, like a duck to water. Yeah. There are some really good reasons why van life is better for a dog than like traveling in a car and so forth. You know, one of the really big things is there's just more space for the dog. And they can stretch out, they can maneuver, and they can get comfortable. And if they're not comfortable in position A, then they can just keep on, wiggling around and so forth.
They keep wiggling around till they push you off the bed, and they get the whole thing then. So,
there is that.
He really does like it.
There is that. He likes very much. He likes the bed on the van. I'm going to pull up a little thing for you here. Screen share. And some of the other things too about putting the dog in the van, you can keep water out for him, or her, all the time, and you don't have to worry about anything. With him, I've got one bowl of water in the front and one bowl of water in the back. You see him here. He's in the van. It's crowded with a lot of stuff. Now, on this particular trip, we were taking stuff to my daughter for my brand new grandbaby. And of course, he was along with me because he's a service dog. And that is his food bowl that you saw on top of the whole pile of stuff. He did have a water bowl sticking right behind the driver's seat. So he always has that. And it just really makes it a lot easier.
It does.
And if it's raining outside, you can throw the ball some in the van, and he can go back and forth. Now, granted, it's only the length of the van, but it's better than
it's more than the back seat of the car.
Of course, sometimes when we're out, we put on the rain jackets and we just go out. But you can't get that kind of playability in a hotel room most of the time. So there's just tons of reasons. And you saw him up there.
Yeah.
He likes it. And like John pointed out, he really likes the bed.
He does.
How many miles per gallon do you get with the van?
We run.
It varies.
Yeah, it varies.
A little bit.
We average around 13, but oddly enough, when we went to Alaska last time with the utility trailer, it went up to 14. Some sort of, I don't know, drafting effect, but we've got the measurements, but the actual calculated gas mileage to prove it. It was just weird.
Yeah,
but
on
14 on a good day.
Every trip that I do, I'm always keeping stats and data. So that because that helps me plan for the next trip. So we keep a really good eye on the gasoline. But it does vary a little bit. Like we talked about the 15 miles to the gallon, 13 miles to the gallon. It depends on your terrain. If you're going through, like, let's say Oklahoma, where it's flat, you're going to get better gas mileage. If you're going through Texas, where it's flat and windy, your gas mileage isn't going to be as great. Same thing with a car. If you're going up mountains, you're losing some gas mileage. So there is some variability.
We never said the engine in the van is a 6-liter V8. So we talked about the big engine. We never gave the numbers, but it's one of the bigger engines
Big
in
Tom's
that.
in the 6.0.
Okay, yeah, it's a good engine. It's reliable. We haven't had any major trouble out of it. We've had a water pump go out, but those are consumables really.
On the Alaska Highway.
On the Alaska Highway in the
After
middle
midnight.
of nowhere.
In the middle of the night. But
a truck service station came and towed us in back to where they worked on the big rigs, and once they got the part in, they got us on the road pretty easily. So
yeah.
Yeah.
And when the gentleman was talking to us about working on the van, he was like, "Oh, you've got a Chevy Express. I can get the parts."
Yeah, he was glad it was nothing
so,
exotic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was really in our favor, but we did have some problems on this last trip.
Yeah.
Just because your pitman arm's going to break sometime. Your brakes are going to have to be done, which we always do that ourselves.
Yeah.
But those are things that it's just going to happen sometimes. But as far as engine, no problems. Yeah. And we do have 240,000 on the van.
Yeah, 240 something
thousand miles. So we really like the van.
And that's one of the reasons we're keeping such a close watch on the gas mileage. That's kind of one of our indicators of engine wear, and it's been very consistent, except for terrain and stuff. So I feel good that the engine's in good shape. So yeah.
When we go to plan for the gas mileage or for the gas cost on the trip, Travel Math, you can put in what your gas mileage is on the vehicle and figure it out for your entire trip. That's really helpful. But what I usually do is I look at that figure right before we leave, and then I add 15% to that to accommodate for days where I have crosswinds and I'm being blown all over the road, or mountains. Obviously, standing in traffic, you're losing gas mileage too.
Yeah.
But that works out to be pretty much dead on the money. So
I've been impressed.
Yeah. But you got to know your vehicle first to be able to do the mileage. So, yeah. All right. Where did you get the AC in the van? And is it a 12 volt?
No.
We got a 12 volt.
We got it at Walmart. It's just a window unit. I assume you mean the one in the back, not the one up in the cockpit area.
In the back. It's a 5,000 BTU.
Yes, 5,000 BTU, just a window unit, just like they sell every summer. I would like to have the 12 volt unit for wiring purposes because we've got to run the inverter for the window unit. But it was just frankly too expensive. I looked at a 12 volt air conditioner system recently, and it was a couple of $1,000, and I think we paid $150 or $130 for that.
$149.
Okay, $149 for the little air conditioner we have now. So yeah, we just couldn't do the 12 volt.
So the other thing that I like about it not being a 12 volt is I have the advantage of if I am at a state park or if I need to rent a space like at Love's, because Love's has RV spaces now that they're putting in. If I want to rent something like that, then I can just plug the AC directly into the current and I don't have to worry about it. And I do stop periodically. One of the questions was about the washing machine. And the way I do that is I wear my clothes, I put them in the washing machine for storage, trying to utilize all the space that I can in the van. And then when the washing machine is full, it's time to do laundry. So there we are. I can use that on solar or on shore power, but sometimes if I'm going to do several loads, it's just better to go ahead and get the shore power. so I can do the AC and the washer.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Big Tom's got a good question.
Okay. How much solar? Where's the bathroom? Do you cook outside?
We have
good questions. You can answer solar first.
Okay, we've got 100-watt solar panel. My big goal for prior to her leaving this summer is to add another, get at least 200 watts of solar up there. We have currently two 100 amp hour sealed lead acid batteries. So we got 200 amp hours of house battery. The 100 watt solar panel, it charges it kind of slowly, but it does charge. It does charge it. So I like to get a little bit quicker recovery. The bathroom is in a cabinet that we built. That was what Pacer was laying on top of with the all the stuff. I think Gayle just did a video on
the last video I showed the cabinet. I showed the bathroom.
Yeah, and he also asked if we cook outside, and
sometimes, but not often.
Yeah, I would say more. We cook inside more often than not. She's got some cool little cooking devices, and
I've got a nostalgia mini griddle.
Yeah,
and I've also got the sandwich cooker. So with the mini griddle, I have done all kinds of things from chicken lettuce wraps to I think one of the videos that I just did was steak and zucchini done on the mini griddle, which he just loves.
It was very tasty. She is so creative like that. It just kind of blows my mind. Like I never think of these things. So yeah, we end up cooking and eating inside the van a lot because it's convenient.
So with the air conditioning running with the two 100 amp hour batteries, it's a 5,000 BTU. Energy efficient, and I can run it about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, kind of depending on how hot it is outside. With that, because of all the insulation that we have in the van, it cools it off. I usually use it when I'm parked at night, and I have not had any problems. It usually keeps it really cool until the next day when it's time for me to go. And it's really nice to have that. But we do have a lot of insulation in the van. I'm trying to find a video that I did. Because what we did for the van is we get Misfit Market boxes. And I will sometimes order those when we're going out on a trip so I can take them with me. I think I've talked about that before. Every time we get a box, it comes with this white insulation. So what we did was on the van, on the walls, we have got the reflective insulation, the styrofoam insulation, and then we've got about 3 inches of the Misfits insulation that I threw in there. The Misfits insulation, of course, coming free with all the boxes. We just had to save it up. And so we've got about 4 inches of insulation. Plus, we also have some Reflectix in the van, which doesn't have a lot of cooling properties, but it does help some. And so we've got all of that up in the roof, and we've got the sides, and then the floor, we've got the 1-inch styrofoam, plus some Reflectix, plus the plywood, plus we've got some carpeting in the van. Carpeting being a little controversial in a van because some people, you either love it or you hate it. You do have, it's a little bit more of a challenge to keep clean. So I do go over it with the dust buster periodically and stuff. But with me, where I have the foot drop and I have the mobility issue, it is easier for me to walk on carpet than it is for me to walk on linoleum. So hence, we went with the carpet. If you are more sure-footed, you can probably get by with linoleum and love it. It's just, I couldn't. We actually made that change, but it also adds insulative properties, so that's nice. So, all right, I don't see my photo for the insulation. I'm going to keep looking. All right. The other thing is, let's see what else. He answered a multi-question. Had a multi-question here.
Yeah, I think I got all 3 parts.
The bathroom. Okay. The bathroom is, I have a big tub inside the van with this great big cabinet. And the tub has a stock, I'm sorry, the cabinet has a stock tank in it that I use for the tub. And I can make some hot water with a hot pot, doing it on solar, and put some water in there so I can actually take a bath. Again, that goes to me having a disability, because sometimes I feel that really hot neurological pain, and then the muscles in my legs seizes up. So it's really helpful to have that. Does it take up space? Oh, yeah, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just one of the things. Inside of that, I have a flushing toilet that's portable. Cassette toilet. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And it flushes, and you just take it out and in, and that's also where I put my washing machine. Mm-hmm. So the washer is really small. I've got a video on it too, and that's where I do my bathing. I have a handheld shower. It's a USB rechargeable shower. So if I don't want to take a full bath, I can take just the shower and do it that way. And go ahead.
When she says stock tank, y'all may have already know what this means, but let me throw it up there anyway. We were at Tractor Supply, and it is literally a Rubbermaid watering trough for cows and whatnot. We got the small one, and it was a 50-gallon, I think, mm-hmm. and it's about 18 inches deep.
Yeah.
And I don't remember the exact, about 4 feet long and about 2 feet wide, 2 to 3 feet wide. We've got the measurement somewhere, but it's a one piece. It can't leak. You can cut a hole in it. Oh yeah, cut a hole in it and put a drain on it. And that was our original plan. But we decided that we kind of liked it being seamless and impossible to leak. So our current incarnation is we're going to be using suction.
It's a gas siphon hose. If you guys have ever had to siphon gas, it's your gas siphon hose.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not anything complicated there. I don't do complicated well. And so I use the gas siphon hose to take all the water out, and then I just take a towel and dry it out.
Mm-hmm.
So let me show you here. There's one that's similar that's on Amazon, and I can show you here by sharing the screen. So our stock tank is shaped like that, and it also is the 50-gallon.
Yeah, that looks very similar to the one we've got.
Yeah, ours is black, so it's about the same. And on some of these, you can get it where there is a plug on the side. Like you said, we just opted not to because I wanted it solid.
Mm-hmm. And it was nice. On one time recently, the cassette toilet fell over. We had to swerve or something, and it leaked. But the tank held everything and was not a problem to clean up. So that was really nice.
It was good.
Yep.
Yeah, basically what had happened on that was we had to stop short because of an animal that ran out in front of us, and I didn't have the washing machine in front of it to kind of scotch it in. I'd gotten lazy on that. I'd put the washing machine in another spot. So I won't do that again.
We live and we learn.
Yeah. Here's the little washing machine that I have. I'll pull that up. And it's the mini washer. Oh gosh, it's on sale now.
Oh wow.
Okay, anyway, it's a miniature washer. It does not dry really well, but it washes like a dream. So it is this plus the toilet that sits behind it, takes up most of the room in the stock tank. And here's the toilet, because that was asked about which one. There we go. And it's a Vita Home.
It's been really good. It's tight. It doesn't leak.
It's got a $20 off coupon now, too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I can link all of these down below. But if you go to amazon.com/shop/Gayle Crabtree, Gayle Crabtree, then all of this is linked on that one link. But, this is nice. When you look at a toilet, get one that's tall enough that you're comfortable on. Measure your favorite chair from floor to the bottom of the chair and try to get a toilet close to that size, as close as possible. We did some looking and looking and looking and looking, and then we looked some more. And finally, we found this one, which is tall enough. It's 5.3 gallons. That's how much water the top tank here will hold. Well, and the bottom tank, because you've got the fresh water at the top and the bottom part, which you take and dump at your dump station. So that's very nice. It also is, with the water in it, it makes it heavy, so it's actually less likely for it to flip over, I feel like. But we did have it land on its side, kind of tip over. So, yeah. All right. Showering has also come up. So let me go and show you the shower head that I've got. And on this one, you can just put it in a bucket, or I've got the sink right at the end of my bathtub. So I can put the end of this in the sink and shower pretty easily. It's got a long enough hose I can do that. So this has got, let me show you. This has got 2 battery packs with it, which I really recommend. That way you can have one in the shower and then one to charge. And it just pumps it up and comes out the shower head. Now, is it as strong as your home shower? No. Nothing is going to be as strong as your home shower, right? But it does the job. It works adequately. The battery lasts long enough to take care of what I needed to take care of. So, yeah. And that one's $39, which that price has gone up a little bit. Toilet went down.
Okay, good.
So, yeah. So that's what we got there. What else? That sounds great. It is. I really like that. It's big. It takes up a lot of space in the van. And it's not going to be worth it to everybody, but to me it is. Also, I use that surface. You guys should go back and look at the video that I just uploaded, because it is really great with this large surface. We put some extra 2x4s underneath it, designed it that way. So if someone is with me, they can sleep on top of the cabinet. And we just throw some padding on there, and it's a second sleeping platform. So that's really good. Plus it's a tub. Plus it holds the toilet and the washer. Lots of great things about it. And I use it to cook on, I compute on, you name it. So, yeah. Yeah, they're actually, I just noticed they're actually on sale, which is really cool. And let's see. That's a good price usually. Okay. So the toilets, you may have just seen a composting toilet. We don't have that. Those are like through the roof. Yeah. And nobody that I've actually talked to has had a composting toilet long term. But I have talked to several people who had the cassette toilets for long term. So I want it for long term use. So let's see, what else have we got?
Big Tom again, asking about.
Okay, I want to stick with this one. Do I cook outside? Yes, I do. Sometimes. I have just a little gas grill, and I have a camping stove. So it's just a matter of which one I think I'm going to want that I take with me. And I also have a little single burner Coleman. Fits on top of the green bottle, and that's nice. But I got tired of replacing those little green bottles all the time. I think it's pricey.
It does.
So I usually, though, wind up cooking inside the van on that mini griddle. And let's see. So what else? Refrigerator.
Yep.
We have a set power. And it is not, this is just me when I go out, so I don't need something really huge. The set power, it's a 12 volt, and I'm looking to see, I did an unboxing on it, but I actually haven't done a review on it yet. I keep saying I'm going to, and I just haven't yet. Do you remember what the current is that it takes? I'm sorry, the watts and stuff.
It's running around,
I'm gonna pull this up too.
Three or four amps, going from memory here, 3 or 4 amps, which would be 36 to 48 watts.
We wrote it on the side of the.
Yeah.
And we've got a.
Yeah. And is that the
we
little
will look
one?
for it.
I think we've got a bigger one than that.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Pet peeve. This is, pardon me while I drag out my soapbox. This is a refrigerator. It has a compressor and it uses a refrigerant. It's just like the fridge in your home, except it does not have a fan inside it. It just gets cold. There are a lot of electric coolers that use a black magic, but they don't get as cold. They can only push, I think it was 20 or 30 degrees below ambient. Which
is nice if your ambient is 60.
Yeah, true.
You can do 20 if it's 60.
Yeah.
Not so much if it's 100.
Yeah, we keep our little fridge set at about 33, and it does really well. We've been very happy with it.
And it is small because, like I said, it's just me, so I don't need anything really big. And this will freeze. It will go low enough in temperature that your things will get frozen, but I didn't need that. So I just want it to take like a quart of milk and some yogurt and some basic like sandwich meat, cheese, stuff like that. But this is the one we have. It was not expensive. Now, there is not a lot of insulation on this, which is the one detractor, I think, from the refrigerator. So if you go inside, your van's going to be off for a while and you're not going to be able to hook it up to electricity. It's going to warm up.
Mm-hmm.
But we always have ours turned on solar. Or if we're in his car, there's a power point there in the car. So it's usually always drawing electricity.
Yeah.
We got this, 3 years ago? 2 years ago? Now I forgot.
I don't remember.
It's been a while.
It's been a couple of years, yeah, and it's been working really, really well.
It has. I've been really happy with it. I wasn't sure how long it was going to last. I wasn't familiar with the brand. I didn't want to stick a ton of money into something I wasn't sure about. So we went with this one. It's on the lower end of cost, but it's done great. We use it in the summer. Like at home, we're like an hour from the grocery store. Mm-hmm. So I use it for grocery runs. It pretty much stays in his car. Mm-hmm. If we're going out somewhere, we leave it in the car and I'll put like tea to refill with or bottles of water and stuff like that in the car because it's a lot cheaper than buying individual bottles. So we're using it a lot. All the van trips, you name it. And it's just, I have been super happy with this machine.
I've been really impressed with it. Like she said, we leave it in the Jeep, and I leave it plugged in usually. So think about how often you start and stop your vehicle. And so it's been cycling on and off, and that hasn't bothered it. One thing.
Oh, that's right. Your Jeep does cut off. The electricity does come off when you stop it. I forgot about that.
So it apparently is pretty sturdy. You can't put ice in it like you would a normal cooler.
That is true.
You can't put loose water inside that cooler. It's not watertight. But we have used the ice packs if we're going to be out of the vehicle for a while, and it's worked well.
We did that once or twice with his Jeep. We don't have to do that with the van.
Yeah, that's true. When we got the van, we've got the full-time power, which is nice.
Yeah. And I do have, excuse me, I do have a small cooler that I will use in the van specifically for ice for my drinks if I don't have my ice machine with me. But we do have an ice machine and we can run that on solar too. It's just like everything. You have to watch your power consumption. Mm-hmm. Being in a van really makes you realize two things. It makes you realize how much electricity that you're using because you have to ration, you have to budget it. And it makes you realize how much water you're using.
Yeah.
No, there's no 1 hour showers in a van. So, let's see. Okay. Is that for the toilet or for a fridge? Yeah. I'm not familiar with that one, so help me out. Yeah, the cooler fridges are pretty good. It's just that you got to watch your temperature inside your vehicle because some will go 20 degrees below ambient and some will go 40. It's really hard to find one that goes 40. Most of them are around 20. So if you're in your vehicle and it's like the upper 60s, then 20 degrees off of that, and you're pretty okay for like drinks. I don't know that I would trust it for like milk and really perishable meats, things like that. But for drinks, you're okay. But you got to remember that when you stop, if it's spring or summer, the interior of your vehicle is going to heat rapidly.
Mm-hmm.
So you can come out with a 100-degree easy inside your car if it's in the summertime or late spring around here. And if you've got meat and stuff in your fridge, then you just really have to question whether or not that's still good, So I don't have to worry about that with our refrigerator because it keeps on going. And it's handled some really big temperatures. I was in Oklahoma and the temperature, what was it, 107?
It was over 100.
Yeah, it was over 100 degrees. My AC went out. It went out in Arkansas, but I couldn't get it fixed until Oklahoma because of places that could see the vehicle and so forth. And so it got really hot when it was parked inside the car because I forgot and left my fridge in the van while they were working on it. And they had it I had to park it from Saturday night through Tuesday morning. I was really worried about how my fridge was going to be when I remembered it. It did heat up. It had trouble keeping up with the heat. So I did lose what was in it. But here's the thing, even though it was 80 in the fridge and it was a whole heck of a lot, really a lot harder than that outside because they parked it in the sun. So here it is in the sun in 107-degree heat. It's anything's going to have trouble at that kind of temperature, okay?
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I was just really pleased to see that it was still running, even though I'd lost the stuff that was in it. And yeah, I've been really impressed with it. We're still using it. I mean, it's still great. Yes, Big Tom's fan is saying conserve everything, and he's really right on the mark on that. Dry flush toilet.
Interesting. Okay, cool.
Let me know how that works.
Is that the one that has the foil thing that encapsulates the deposit and kind of wraps it up? Yeah, that's cool.
I have no idea. So, but let us know how it works because eventually, this one's going to have to be replaced eventually.
Yep.
So, yes, we do. We have a Max Air fan.
Mm-hmm.
I love that thing because there's a lot of times when all you need is some air coming in the van and you don't need that air conditioner going. So the Max Air fan has been great for that.
We chose the full manual version with the manual wind-up lid and the manual buttons, no remote control, simply because you can reach it from pretty much anywhere in the van.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just didn't see the need to go with a remote control on that.
And on full blast, it pulls right at 2 amps, but we usually run it quite a bit lower than that. Yeah. And it is reversible, so you can do it whichever direction. Is that it? Go down a little bit.
I'm looking for it on Amazon so you can see which one we've got.
I think that's it, the 129.
There it is.
Yeah, we don't have the rain sensor, so.
Yeah, no.
And the two
we
arms.
We have not needed the rain sensor because we're sleeping.
You notice when you're sleeping
right
under
the air conditioner.
Yeah.
I mean, right under the fan.
Yeah.
So you know if it's going to start to rain or not.
Yeah, but the double arms keep the lid from rattling. It's kind of interesting too if you don't cinch it down when you're driving down the road, the airflow actually will pull it up a little bit. I just think that's cool. But
anyway. So this is what we've got, the 14-inch.
Yep.
And we have had this Max Air fan since 2015. It was one of the first things that we got when we first got the van. And so as far as longevity on that, we're coming up on, 8 years?
8 years. It hasn't leaked. It still works great. So it's golden.
It was a little heart-stopping to see him cut the hole in the roof of the van.
It was a little nerve-wracking, not gonna lie.
But you got it.
Yes.
So that was good.
Yep.
But we really like it. And another question too that I was asked, somebody who sees my videos asked about us having an RV, and we do have a travel trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And we like the travel trailer because we like being in the travel trailer, but we still use the van because it's my van.
It's her van, and sometimes she goes on adventures without me because I gotta work, and that's cool too.
Quite often that happens, and so with the travel trailer is a lot more comfortable for two, and especially if we're talking about 2 plus a Labrador Retriever, that extra space is really great. I prefer the van when it's just me, and actually in some ways I kind of prefer the van when it's the 2 of us if I have to drive it at all, because vans, let's face it, your gas mileage is better in the van than it is pulling a travel trailer. It is easier to maneuver. It does stick out a little bit longer than your average parking space, but it's not like you're taking up multiple parking spaces because you've got a vehicle and a travel trailer. So it's easier to maneuver, it's easier to park, it's easier to cool, it's easier to keep cool, it's easier to heat. I like my van. I do. So yeah. But it's not for everybody. Not everybody is going to be happy in a van. Anytime you get something, you're going to be making a trade-off. So with the travel trailer, the trade-off is it's harder to maneuver. Your gas mileage isn't as good. With the van, you don't have as much space. Certainly in a Chevy Express, you're not going to stand up in it, and that drives a lot of people crazy.
Yeah, it makes me a little twitchy sometimes. I'm not going to lie.
With me, I'm short enough that if I go to stand up in the van, all I have to do is duck my head, and I'm pretty much standing straight up. Not so much with this guy here. And that's one of the trade-offs that you have to make. We did look at getting one that had the higher ceiling, but where I have to go to the doctor's office so much and whatnot, I couldn't park something with a higher ceiling. We actually started out originally with a rack on top of the van. The plan was to put the rack on the van, put the solar panels on the rack, and go from there. Yeah, that didn't work. The first time I went to the hospital, I couldn't park in the parking garage with the rack. So I had to come home and I'm like, hubby, this thing's going.
Yeah.
And he's like, I got you. Okay. So, yeah. Let's see what else. We've already done this one for how does the bathtub and toilet work. We've already talked about that. Where did we get the AC? Does Pipsy like van life? Why did you choose the Chevy Express? Why did you get a van? So, yeah. Something I get asked a lot too is, do I feel safe in the van as somebody who does a lot of solo female travel? I actually feel safer in the van than I do in the travel trailer because the van is compact. If you have somebody, let's say, that's talking right outside of your door, you know it if you're in the van. If it's going to make you uncomfortable, you just get in the driver's seat and you leave. If you're on the side of the Alaska Highway and there are bears nearby and you can hear them, you can leave. If you're in the travel trailer, then you may have these noises and just not realize what they are because you can't hear as well in the travel trailer. The other thing is, if you're in the travel trailer, you have to go outside the trailer and around and get into the car. So you're going to have to exit one vehicle to get in the other to drive off. In the van, you're 4 feet from the front seat. So it's just a matter of going to the front seat, ripping down the reflectix so you can see, and leaving. You're done. 2 seconds, you are off to safety. So I really feel a lot safer in the van. Now, that being said, I still have my wasp and hornet spray by the doors. I still have my brain just shut down. That spray for fires.
Oh, the fire extinguishers.
Fire extinguishers, thank you. Still have those by the doors too. So I have something by every door. And I just feel better that way. I used to have a big dog. Now I've got a lab. But still, it's nice. But there are some precautions that you're always going to have to take if you're in an area and it feels like it's not a good area. Then don't stay there.
Yeah.
Leave. Because you're in a van, you are not locked into any particular place to stay.
That's true.
Even if you're buying a campsite somewhere, if you get there and you don't feel right, it's easier to leave than it is, say, if you're in a hotel room or if you're in a travel trailer. That opens up a world of versatility also. And I'm going to go ahead and tell them, as far as versatility, one of the reasons why we like the van is if you go someplace like we did that was like super crowded, you can do a huge change in your vacation plans on the fly without worrying.
Yeah.
We went to Arkansas, Hot Springs, Arkansas. Little did we know that at the time we chose, it was spring break in Hot Springs, Arkansas.
Yeah.
And you could not hardly move it off.
You couldn't stir it with a stick.
It was awful. And so we were at the KOA, and we did our first night at the KOA, and we went and we did the Diamond State Park. That was great. Had a great time. But the town was so crowded. We looked at each other and we're like, we are out of here. So we wound up at the beach in Biloxi.
Yeah, I was going to make sure you talked about that, because here we're in the middle of Arkansas, like the middle of Arkansas. And she says, this is crowded. Let's go somewhere else. We're kind of close to the beach. No, we're not. No, we're not. But by George, we went down through Arkansas and Louisiana, had a lovely drive, and ended up at the beach.
On the beach.
And had a lovely time there too.
Yes, we did. So it is just so much more versatile, I think. Campgrounds will usually let you check out early if you're staying in a campground, and if you're in a van, or even if you're in the travel trailer, then you may do boondocking, or I've also heard it called dry docking, where you're not tied down to anything. You may be in a parking lot, you may be in a truck stop, and not having to spend anything at all for the night. But even if you're in a campground, if you're not happy, they'll usually let you check out early. If you were in a situation where they wouldn't let you check out early without keeping the money that you've paid, then you're still losing less than you would be if you were in lots of other situations. So, yeah. The versatility, you can't beat it.
I will have to agree. I like my creature comforts, but the versatility of the van is really hard to match.
He's got the answer.
That would take that solves many problems.
It does. That's not a direction I feel comfortable going, but he likes that. He likes that answer. So I have thought about it though. We actually, funny story, we were actually crossing into Canada, and we were asked, of course, do you have any firearms? And I'm like, no. And so the guy at customs turns around and goes, you're from Tennessee and you don't have a gun in your vehicle? Anyway.
He also said, even disassembled? Yeah, no, really, no.
KOA is A-OK.
We're fans.
We like KOA. We like KOA pretty well. More so when we're in the travel trailer, I think, because they've got the extra amenities. When I'm on the road, I tend to do, the boondocking / dry docking, or I do a lot of state parks and national parks. And here's the thing about national parks. Where I'm disabled, I have an access pass, which is a free pass for national parks. Along with that comes a 50% discount on camping, which is how, when we went to North Carolina, we decided to go off season at the beach. We had full hookups, national park campground, and it was $18 a night.
Yeah.
So you can't beat that for full hookups. So yeah. And that's good at national parks. It's good at BLM land. It's good at Army Corps of Engineers. TVA dams, those campgrounds will give you a discount, but it's not 50%. So basically, it's good at a lot of places. So I tend to do a lot of that. If I'm in Alaska and I'm in an okay area, then I will just go ahead and pull off at one of the pull-offs and sleep. You cannot always do that. And the big thing about Alaska, also Alaska Highway, I mean, not just Alaska, but going across Canada on the Alaska Highway, you really have to be kind of concerned about bears. I stopped at this one town and there were signs up everywhere saying, do not sleep in your vehicle, do not leave an animal in your vehicle, because they had what they were calling a problem grizzly. I didn't spend the night there that night. No. Got my gas, got my $6 bag of ice, pet peeve, grumpy moment there, and got back on the road. Yes, get the access pass. Here's the thing that they don't really tell you. It's not on the website or anything, but if you're a senior, you can get a senior pass, which is, I think, $80 for the lifetime pass.
I think so.
If you have a disability, get that one. It's free. So why would you pay $80 to get a senior lifetime pass if you can get a free pass? The senior pass won't give you the discounts on camping. The access pass will. So if you have a disability, whether you're a senior or not, get the access pass. So it's, go ahead.
The access pass, and I believe the senior pass too, will also get up to more than one person in.
It does.
I think it's 4 people.
Up to 4 people, including yourself, in the same vehicle.
Yeah.
So if you're in like 2 or 3 different vehicles, then no, they can't go in free on your pass. But it's up to 4, including you, in that same vehicle. At all parks, you think? Yeah, I think so. National, national parks. Also, BLM lands, you can get the access pass there. I actually lost one of my passes and went into a BLM place and just asked, can I get another pass? They weren't real thrilled, but they did it.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can pull this up as far as where you can get it. Yep. And I'm going to drop this down here in the comments so you guys will have the link, because it's so helpful. There you go.
Yep.
And they don't guarantee that you'll get other discounts. In fact, they just up front say you won't get discounts on any of the vendors or the concessionaires and stuff. That's not always true. We have been, I think it was Denali in Alaska, where we took a bus tour, and we got a couple of bucks off of the tour by having the passes. Now, I do literally mean a couple of dollars. It's not going to get you the 50% off. Also, if there is a parking fee charged, then you're still going to have to pay the parking fee unless you have a handicap tag for your vehicle. So either the hang tag or the license plate tag. Either one of those will usually work if you're at a national park area that has the parking fee, such as Great Smoky Mountains National Park just instituted a few days ago a hang tag. It's $5. A little bit of a hassle to get it because you have to go online and you have to enter your car tag number and things like that. But with a handicap tag, that's all you need. So, there's hopefully that'll help with a money saving tip there.
Mm-hmm. And
So,
Jane does got a good question. She
Oh,
said
what?
something nice.
Let me pull it up. Aw,
Aw.
thank you. For me, I actually find it easier to eat healthy when I'm on the road because
No, she
he's
does
awful.
good. I am
He's awful.
I'm a
But-
junk food junkie. I like the roller hot dogs. So.
But I eat healthier on the road
She does.
because you're going in and you're buying produce, you're getting fruit. I'm really big on like cottage cheese and celery, and close your ears because this creeps him out every time. But I'll use it as a dip. So I'll wash my celery and then I'm walking around using my cottage cheese as a dip and eating it with my celery. So that, a couple of crackers, and I'm good for breakfast.
Yeah.
The griddle that I cook on, I don't do high fat things on the griddle because it just isn't conducive to that. I could cook a lot of things on the griddle. Don't hear me say I can't, but it just tends to be a lot healthier. So yeah, it's really not as difficult as you would think. Certainly the produce that you get things that'll last a little bit longer than others. Your lettuce is going to wilt pretty quick if you're in the van. If you don't have electricity, I certainly wouldn't put lettuce in an ice cooler, though,
Mhm.
not directly on the ice.
Oh yeah, we found that out the hard way.
But a lot of your other produce, like your celery, Swiss chard does pretty good. Kale does pretty good. Some of your heartier greens does pretty good. But you're probably going to be stopping every few days to replenish supplies because you're in a smaller confined space than you are at home.
Yes.
So yeah.
And you have to. Okay. Speaking for myself, I have to remember that places out there also have Walmart and grocery stores. So we're not going into the local gas station and trying to buy a dollar a piece apple or something like that. They're hard than that.
Although you can do that.
You can do
more that. Like the Pilots and the Loves are both offering
and
fruit.
They're doing better about it. I gotta be honest. But you go to like a real grocery store, you get real produce and stuff like that. And you make decisions to cook in the van. That's one of the nice things about it. You can do that, so you're not eating fast food all the time. So it can be done. It just takes a little bit of planning, but it ends up being it's not impossible at all.
I think it's easier to be healthier in the van, personally.
Yeah.
The other thing is, you mentioned grocery stores, and there is a tendency for people to like really stock up on food if they're going to go someplace like Alaska and they're going to be driving across the country.
Yeah.
And you don't need to do that. Every major city that you go through in Canada is going to have a Walmart. Didn't used to be the case, but that has become the case. So
there you go.
What?
Yeah, Women's Station Channel actually asked that.
Oh, will you be able to carry enough food in this fridge for Alaska? Both yes and no. Because you don't need to stock up for huge amounts, then you don't need to. So every major city has got that you go through in Canada, and of course, certainly here in the United States, there's going to be Walmart.
Mm-hmm. If
there's not a Walmart and you're in a smaller town, there's going to be a grocery store. I mean, think about it. They have to have places to shop too.
And that's what I have to keep reminding myself.
So yeah. Plus, sometimes you buy a fair amount of something and you just get tired of it, like at home. I made the mistake one time. I got kiwi yogurt. Well, I really like kiwi yogurt, but I didn't like all 4 packages. So after a couple of days, I was really tired of kiwi yogurt, even though it's one of my favorites. So I was really glad to go to a grocery store and get something else just to change it up. So, yeah. So what else you got? Big Tom's fan says, yes, easier. Okay, so he's with me. Because you're going in and, you're getting your fruit. You're getting your fresher veggies, and it's nice.
I think Gayle made a video about doing chicken peanut lettuce wraps in the van.
Yes, I did.
They were really tasty.
He didn't believe me.
Oh, okay. I was a little skeptical. Yeah, they were wrapped up in lettuce, and they were really good. So like, hey, that's kind of cool.
And I'm going to put that up there too.
Yeah.
Part of it was he did not believe that I could cook chicken lettuce wraps. Of course, you're not cooking the lettuce pie, but he didn't believe that I could cook that on the mini griddle.
Things like that. But you can cook a surprising amount of food, and it cooks.
Right.
It does cook really well.
So
I was wrong.
So there you go.
It's on record. I was wrong.
There's the link, and this is the small little mini griddle, and Dash. Mine's by Nostalgia. Dash makes one. Dash actually takes a little bit less wattage than the Nostalgia.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the Nostalgia works a little faster.
Yeah, the Nostalgia pulls right at 800 watts. Our van has a 1500 watt pure sine inverter. A griddle's not going to care if it's pure sine wave or modified sine wave on the inverter, but we've got enough power in the inverter that we can pull it without stressing the inverter or using a lot of juice out of the batteries. So yeah.
Yeah,
so
I don't think it takes that many watts. I'm going to dispute that. Let me check. But you can go ahead and keep talking to them, and I'll.
Oh no!
Since
I have my honor has been impugned, I will now. I think it's rated that. Have we measured that?
I thought it was 650.
Well, anyway.
The Nostalgia pulls 5 something.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. The
other one, and we both thought that might be a little bit low. The Nostalgia one has elements on top and bottom, so it cooks on both sides. That may be what defines a griddle, but anyway, it works really well. Yeah. That's the Dash.
Yeah, that's the 8-inch. I don't have the 8-inch.
Yeah, we've got the Nostalgia griddle. We've got a waffle maker. I don't think you carry it in the van, do you?
No, I have the sandwich maker, which
we'll
I
make
don't
a whole big batch of waffles
use
and freeze them like homemade Eggos, toaster waffles. Anyway, and we've also got the.
I'm going to go back and look at that. That's the big one too.
Well, we'll just go ahead and measure it. We got one of those.
We've measured it before. We've had the meter.
You plug in the meter. You plug into the wall and plug the thing into it. Not a multitester, but it's a watt.
Watts meter.
Watt doctor. What's the name of that? What is the name of it though?
I just call it a watts meter. 550. Yeah.
That's a waffle maker.
No.
It says waffle maker right there.
It says griddle.
But the description says waffle maker.
I don't care. Hold on, y'all.
I'm gonna have to. Don't make me go out there. I'll go out there and get it.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know where it is. Probably in the black tub. But anyway.
That says griddle.
It does.
And that says 550.
Okay. Fine. But it does good.
550, right there.
Okay.
So there you go. But yeah, I like it. It's actually, if I'm get some things that I use because it heats on both sides, it's faster than cooking it on the stove.
That's true.
So Big Tom's fan likes the Instapot.
Big Tom, I'm a bit on the fence on that. We haven't tried it in the van yet.
Will. You can do a lot with that too.
It is very flexible. Absolutely. The Nostalgia griddle. I was thinking that I was trying to see if I could take it apart and see if the cooking surfaces would come off to wash. No, it's all made together. So
all you have to do is wipe it.
You just wipe it off. You cannot immerse it because it will die. So that's probably my single biggest complaint about it, and that's pretty small potatoes. So I would recommend. But the Instant Pot, that is a super versatile tool. Big Tom, have you checked to see how much power it pulls? I have not checked ours. I honestly had not thought about using it in the van or the travel trailers. So we might want to think about that.
Crock pots are good too.
Crock pots are great.
Yeah. One of the videos that I did recently was a collab with Women's Station Channel. And we both did chicken stew. And I did my chicken stew in the van, in the crock pot. And she did hers at her house. So it's both chicken stews, but it's 2 totally different recipes. So do check both of us out. Yeah, It's kind of cool.
And Stellar Piper wants the lettuce wrap recipe.
Okay.
And Big Tom has 540 in solar. There you go.
That's the way to do it.
495 in batteries. 495 amp hours. That's a good array. Good on you. There you go. Good on you. I hope to be like that when I grow up.
We continue to build.
Yeah, we're all the time adding on. I think we're on our 6th incarnation or 5th incarnation of the van. So, anyway.
I don't remember. We keep changing it.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the wonderful things about DIY van builds, okay? You can do whatever you want to. It is your vehicle. So if you want to do it one way and then the next year you want to change it up, it is your vehicle.
Yeah.
If you start out one way and you realize that you made a mistake and you don't like it, you can change it. Yeah. It's your vehicle. And with the travel trailer, that we have, we really can't do that. The layout that we buy is the layout that we have. Yeah. But with the van, I have loved the versatility of both driving it and being able to change it up. For example, with the mission team, I'm hauling all of their stuff. It used to have to all go inside the van. Now it has to all go in the trailer, and I can do whatever I want to inside the van. Having the bathtub in the van would not be possible if it wasn't a DIY van build, because the bathtub takes up space. Mm-hmm. And you just don't have that if you go with a van that's pre-designed. So, yeah. There you go. Big Tom van is on his 10th rebuild.
Yep, there you go. So. We just keep tinkering with it,
Yay!
Don't we? Yep.
There you go.
Cool.
You just keep going until you're happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
One thing, too, about the van and being on solar, I'm really glad that he mentioned how much he's got. Pulling it up there. Here we go. You can't do that on a trailer. You can't put enough solar in a trailer to be able to run things like the air conditioner.
Yeah.
I was so upset because when we went to buy the trailer, I asked him, I'm like, can I put this thing on solar? Oh, yeah. And I was like, because, I want to be able to run different things. Oh, yeah, you can run. Don't worry about it. You can do lots of things. We were using the same words, but we were talking 2 different languages. When I said I wanted to be able to do lots of things, I meant I wanted to be able to do it off of solar in the trailer. And he's like, no, you can buy a setup. And he said you can use that to charge the house batteries when you're stopped somewhere. And then from the house batteries, that'll run your refrigerator.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I want the air conditioner. I have asthma. I need air conditioning sometimes, which is another nice thing about having the setup that we've got. And he's like, oh, yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah. We're talking about vans, but okay, I'm going to vent for just a minute.
Okay.
When we said, well, we're going to put a solar array on the roof of our travel trailer because we got this massive roof area. And our dealer came unglued. He said, no, you can't puncture the membrane. It's
after we bought it.
Yeah, after we bought it. He said, you've got a little port up front where you plug in your solar array that you solar array sold separately.
Of course.
And it's actually wired directly into the batteries. So they said we could buy a solar panel and plug it into that plug and go directly into the batteries. I think Big Tom is having a coronary probably right about now, because if you plug a solar array directly into batteries in a trailer or in a van, you will kill them. You've got to have a charge controller. You've got to have things to monitor and manage the power coming out of the panels. So it sounded good, and if people didn't know,
But the thing is, if you talk to someone who's doing van life, they know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
If you mention that you want to be able to do things on solar in your van and you're talking to somebody who does van life, they know. you're not playing this guessing game. You're not going back and arguing with somebody who sold you the trailer that it won't do what you really wanted it to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another reason why I like the van. It just fits my lifestyle better. I don't want to, I hate saying that in a way because obviously, we do travel and we do travel in the van. We're not
Mm-hmm.
full time. We also have the RV. He works. And so it's not full time. Maybe it will get that way someday. But
we'll see. But I do love the travel trailer. Don't hear me dissing that. I was just really frustrating with those limitations. The van is much more flexible. Yeah, it makes me cringe every time I have to cut a hole in the walls or ceiling. But we don't. We cut a hole in the back door for the new air conditioner. Put new glass back in the door to replace where it used to be. So that was nerve-wracking, but we got it done.
Yeah, and that was another example of a time when the rebuild was very helpful because we had put the air conditioner originally in the back window. And within very short order, I came to hate that because I couldn't see out the back window. We have it in both. We have windows in both doors. And we thought, oh, well, I've got plenty of space. I'll be able to see fine out of the one door that's still got the glass window. And I really couldn't. And I really hated that. So at the end of the season, this was at the end, I guess the end of fall, I'm like, okay, I'm over it. We got to put the window back in. And I want it lower down in the door. So he was like, I've got to cut the door. I'm like, I know, but you can do it. You did it for the ceiling. You can do it for the door.
We did.
And
it was
done.
And not easy.
But absolutely.
You can buy window glass off Amazon. I didn't know that, but you sure can.
Yeah, we're not sure really what happened with the glass for the door, but we did have to order a replacement.
But since we had a Chevy Express, everybody and their cousin has parts for it. Big Tom made I cannot agree more.
Oh, absolutely. Heck yeah.
For both vans and travel trailers.
Heck yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I bet that's something that's going to be coming down the pike more as more people become more attuned and demand solar more.
Yeah. A lot of folks are boondocking and dry docking and they want. Yeah. But like me, we want our creature comforts.
And having solar just opens up the world.
Mm-hmm. Really.
If you don't have solar, you've got to go, unless you're just going to do like early spring or super late fall, you're going to be stuck going to campgrounds and places that have shore power. You can't do things like dry dock, boondock, harvest host sites, things like that, because you're going to have electricity to run a max air fan or to cool it off or to heat it. And if you've got a van, just go ahead, bite the bullet, do solar, even if it's only minimal. If the best you can do is 100-watt solar panel and 100 amp hour battery with your charge controller and inverter, then do that. Start there. I mean, that's what we did, and we're working our way up. That's what we did for a long time, yeah. And now we're saving up to be able to put a 200-watt panel on the roof. And, you just, and that's part of the blessing of a DIY. It is frustrating sometimes learning how to do it. Big Tom's van, I don't know if you came into this with any woodworking skills, but we really didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I took high school shop class and I built some stuff with my grandfather, but not everybody's got that. And you built some things. But nothing where we really had skills.
And now the one thing about the Express that does make me a little crazy is that there are no straight lines and no sharp right angle corners in that van anywhere.
Good night, Stellar Piper.
Oh, night, Stellar. Rest well. So that's a thing. Hey,
Federal Boutique. Hey.
Hey, hello. That's cute. Some of the newer cargo vans are kind of built with van life in mind, mm-hmm. And if and when our Express ever does bite the dust, we may look at that. Just make it a little bit easier to build in, but we're doing okay.
Yeah.
Get a van.
Just measure everything. Like if you're going to make window shades for the doors to go over the windows, don't just assume that because you've got a window on each door, don't just assume that they're the same size. Measure them both. And don't assume that your front door is going to be the same as any one of your back doors. On our Express, I've got 4 different sizes of window shades on 4 different windows. Just the way it's designed.
Yeah. And get a van, get a jigsaw, and a hole saw. You're absolutely right.
Yep.
Yep. And we got a nice circular saw for cutting wood. I just got a new riv nut driver. That's my latest toy, and still learning how to use that. But I think that's going to be a really good thing for securing wood to the frame of the van. Good stuff. Yep.
And he's saying too that the Express is easier than the Econo.
That's the Ford version. I couldn't think of the name of it a minute ago.
One of the reasons that we steered away from the Econo line is just the sheer number of Chevy Express.
Yeah.
Beat it out. A friend of mine did caution me about the Econo line being difficult to build in. So I've never done both, so I really can't compare it. But for us, a big thing was the availability of the parts. I mean, you can't beat it.
Yeah.
So and for me, the real test was when we were in Alaska and when we were stuck in, coming back from Alaska rather, and we were stuck in Nowhere, Canada, about an hour from the border. When the mechanic, who was also the record driver, looked at me, he's like, "No, you've got a Chevy Express. I can get the part." He didn't have to double think it. They did have to send back to Alaska for the part, but there wasn't a problem.
It went to an AutoZone.
And so there you go.
In Alaska, no problem.
Yeah. Oh, good. You guys can.
Good. We can compare notes. That's a good thing.
And the other thing is, I think the van life community in general is very generous with information and support.
A lot of
good
folks. That's been really nice.
Yeah. Huge things. But yeah, and with the van, I just really love the van because it is so versatile and I can just go everywhere. So yeah, it's so nice.
It is.
Like I was in Memphis 2 weeks ago and now I'm back. That's where I did some of the other videos that you see. And then I came back and then I wound up being in Farragut down in Knoxville, and I'm back and I'm getting ready to go to the Smoky Mountains next week, and then I'll be back. And it's just nice being able to do that. And that's one of the things that I don't like about the travel trailer is that you're always having to go and hook it up, and it's more of a hassle to drain the tanks and things like that, which with the little portable toilet, it's just latch done.
That's true. We can get the travel trailer hooked up and moving within about 30 minutes if we hustle, once you get used to it. But on the van, even if you're on shore power, unplug your extension cord, rip down the window coverings, and you're gone. So they really can't compare.
Yeah. But if you're drive docking or boondocking and you need to get out in a hurry, you just go and you pull that off of the windshield and you are done.
Yeah, we always keep the keys when we're in the van. Keep the keys up there
toward the front somewhere.
Cup holder. In the cup holder. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, toward the front. So
it's not always in the cup holder, but anyway, it's
easy to find
toward the front because it's just so much easier. And with me, a lot of times, sometimes, I won't say a lot of times, but sometimes, like if I'm just going to pull over at the rest area for a few minutes, or if I'm in a place that I'm not 100% sure about and I think I might leave, then I've got a curtain right behind the driver's seat, and you'll see that you probably may have seen that in the tour video I just did. Then all I do is I just pull the curtain, And if I have to leave, it's just a matter of getting to the front seat and starting the car and starting the van, and I'm done. I'm gone. 2 seconds. I do.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah. So, all right. Anybody else have any questions, things you want to ask? Give you just a minute here. So, yeah, I don't know, though, that because one of the things that I do get asked is, is this for everybody? And I don't know that it is. And I may do some videos on why it wouldn't be for everybody. Do those coming up, because it's interesting, too, the questions when you're on the road that you get asked. It's really, really there. Hey, Aisha. Welcome in.
Hello.
Welcome. You caught us. We're just fixing to sign off.
But overall, I'm glad we've got the van. I would do it again. I would do it all over again.
Yeah, I do sometimes do meetups.
Yeah.
If I'm in an area and we can work it out, then yeah, I'll do a meetup. It doesn't always hit YouTube. It just kind of depends on what the other person wants to do. Sometimes they're like, no, I don't have my makeup on or whatever. But yeah, I like doing meetups. I have met some of the nicest people doing van life and doing YouTube. And I'm just going to kick this out there and tell you all, you helped me get my service dog. I could not have done that and been able to get the service dog without y'all's support. So watching the videos, donating, cheering me on, oh my gosh, you guys were huge. So heck yeah, I'll do meetups. So, that's okay. I'll be going out again one day. I don't believe in staying home.
That's true. That's true.
I'll just be honest. I don't like staying home. So, yeah. But there's so many places. And certainly, like going to Alaska, I'm actually going to be going to New Mexico first because we have this.
Oh, that's on the way.
Because we have this grandbaby I get to go hold, and she's got some things for me to take to Alaska on the mission trip. So I'll be going to Alaska via New Mexico and doing that whole crazy thing. But that's okay.
It's okay.
And the neat thing we talked about.
I'm going to miss seeing the grandbaby. That's
But the neat thing, too, about having the access pass is if you're out traveling, like going back to somebody asked me about how did the dog travel. If you are traveling and there's a place that you want to see and you want to be able to get out of the car and you've just got an hour or a couple of hours, you can use your free national park access pass if you've got a disability, and you can go to a national park for an hour or two and just get out and walk around and really, experience what you can at the park. Where if you were paying a $30 entrance fee, you'd want to go there all day.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, yeah. So, all right. Well, thank you all. I usually do try to keep this to an hour, but I kind of went past it. So, and I'm going to do some individual videos on some of these questions. Like somebody asked me once before about demonstrating how the toilet works. So I'm going to be doing some things like that and whatnot. So, yeah. Charlie Daniels style. There you go. There you go.
There you go.
All right. So thank you all so much for being here tonight. If you have any other questions, just drop them in the comments. And, we're going to be doing the replay will be available shortly. I'll go through and put some timestamps on it too. So thank you all.
Right.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, guys.
Have a great week. We do have a little shorts coming out tomorrow of my service dog who was napping and asleep. And he came in, and the dog went crazy when he woke up and saw Dad home. So that little shorts is coming out tomorrow. So, all right. Thank you all. Y'all take care. Good night, Lori. Good night, Big Tom. Good night,
Thank y'all for hanging out.
Good night.